Hey, what's up, guys? This is Jag again with the JB Podcast. So, today we're going to be talking about the All Star game and the All Star players that just recently got selected. Um, First, the starters and then the reserves that just got announced. Um, so, first off, I just want to explain how the starters got picked. It was it's usually all fan vote, 100%, which I have no problem with, to be honest with you, because it's a game for the fans. It's a glorified exhibition game, okay? Players don't want to get injured, so they're not going to take it as seriously, unless you're Russell Westbrook, which that's all he does. In the past 2 years, he's won MVP both years. Might win it again this year, but so this year it was 50% fan voting. Uh, 25% media vote, so media members, and 25% player vote. So the NBA players actually got to vote who they wanted in. And like 370 of them, I think, 370 or 330, I can't remember, actually voted. So out of 450, that's a pretty big percentage of the players that actually took the time to vote. So, and honestly, I have no problem with the fan voting. A lot of people do. They say they get it wrong, but it's like it's for the fans. But how this works is, so if you're number one in fan voting, you get 2 points. So you get one plus one. If you're one in uh, media vote, you get another point, number one. And then if you're number one in player vote, you also get 1 point. So you want to have, and then you divide it all by four, okay? So you want to have the lowest number of points to be a starter. And so, for example, LeBron had 4 points. He was number one in every category. Um, so he had 4 points, and he was basically a sweep. Okay. Um, and let's get into the starters. And there's a little controversy on one of them. On one side, on the East, you have Giannis in the front court, along with Jimmy Butler, LeBron James, DeMar DeRozan, and Kyrie Irving. Okay, so honestly, all five of those players are deserving for starting roles. Uh, Dwayne Wade did get the second most backcourt votes. Kyrie Irving got number one, and he got enough of the media votes and player votes to be in there. I think his average was 1.5 points, so he was almost a sweep too. Um, but Dwayne Wade actually won the backcourt vote. He's a more popular player, been a veteran, 14 years in the league, but he didn't get the media votes or the player votes to get in. And he's not even in All Star Reserve this year. So I do have a little problem with that. Of course, I'm biased because Dwayne Wade's one of my favorite players. But also, you gotta let the fans get what the fans want. I mean, Yao Ming was starting over Shaq in his prime. He had no business doing that, but it's still the fans supposed to choose, okay? But I don't have a huge problem with that. Let's get into the West starters, though. So you have Steph Curry in the backcourt, along with James Harden, um, Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard, and Anthony Davis all in the front court. And all five of those guys are really good players, five of the best players, but the big controversy was Russell Westbrook, averaging a triple double, hasn't been done in 50 years, and 55 years actually, and he's not starting. Steph Curry is. Well, here's why. Um, the fans, Curry the is still competing with LeBron for most popular player in the whole world, basketball player in the whole world. I mean, two-time reigning MVP. A lot of people can identify with him, which I don't really understand, to be honest with you, but that's for another video. So a lot of kids like him, a lot of players like the shooting, the new style he brought, a lot of fans. He's one of the most popular players in the league. He won the popular vote in the West. Okay, and the coaches and media also. I mean, the media also voted for him. The NBA players actually, he slipped to like 7 or 8, I believe, in their rankings. But regardless, he still got in because of the fan vote. And the fans, I mean, everyone's freaking out about Westbrook, but it's like, why didn't you vote for him then? You know what I mean? So, and Steph is still a deserving player. I mean, there is controversy. Westbrook should be starting, but Steph, I'm not too angry about that, okay? Um, but yeah, and then the rest, Kawhi Leonard deserving, having a great year this year, actually a little under the radar. Because last year, okay, I've been saying ever since the finals, Kawhi Leonard has been overrated as heck. Every year, it seems like he's in a tier above than what he actually is. Okay, so last year, people were saying he was a top 5 player in the league, arguably top 3, and he was probably lower end of top 10. This year, he's actually probably a top 5, top 6 player in the league, so I'm not mad at him starting. Um, then you got Kevin Durant, arguably having the best season in the whole league, along with James Harden this year because of his efficiency. James Harden should be MVP so far this year, no problem with him starting. And then Anthony Davis is putting up monster numbers, albeit on a terrible team, record wise. But they're better than they look. I mean, they just beat the Cavs, but the Cavs are on a downward spiral right now. But regardless, they just beat the Cavs without Anthony Davis. So with Anthony Davis, they're that much better, okay? So no problem there. Let's look at the reserves, starting with the East. So you got Paul George, Kevin Love, Kyle Lowry, Paul Millsap, Isaiah Thomas, Kemba Walker, and John Wall. And the first thing you see here, it's guard heavy, okay? And you can't really leave any of these players off. Kemba Walker, his first All Star appearance, and it's fantastic. I mean, he's having a career year. His team's in the playoffs. I have no problem with him being in there. And Giannis too, first time in the All Star game, and he's a starter this year. A lot of people thought, oh, fans won't vote for him because he has a weird spelled last name, but no, he actually got the third most votes in the whole East. So next to Kyrie Irving and LeBron. So I mean, his name didn't really have a problem. He's having a fantastic year, most improved year. If his team was a little better, he would definitely be an MVP candidate and maybe even Defensive Player of the Year candidate. Um, you got to put Kyle Lowry in there, of course. He's actually better than DeRozan if you watch the games and honestly the stats as well. He's a better defender, more efficient than DeRozan, better passer, obviously. Well, he's asked to be a passer, but still. He's smaller, but he's actually a better defender somehow. Which you see a lot with players like CP3, John Stockton. I mean, Gary Payton wasn't the biggest guy ever. So yeah, it happens. Kevin Love, I'm happy he's back in. Uh, he's averaging 22 and 11 this year. Deserves to be a starter. Uh, what's his Chris Bosh? Sorry. One of his years in Miami with LeBron, he got in and he was averaging 16 points and 8 rebounds. Last year, Kevin Love was averaging 16 and a half points and 10 rebounds, and he didn't get in somehow. So, okay, I'm not mad about Love. Paul George, he's carrying his team. They've underachieved a lot this year, so maybe you could have made an argument that put Embiid in there instead. But just because of record-wise, the Sixers might make an 8 seed, but right now they're still not that team. Even though Embiid is having a historic rookie year, he still can't play back-to-backs. He's actually injured right now. I mean, so he's not the most dependable health-wise right now because they're being overcautious. I really would have liked to see him because he's a vibrant personality in the NBA. He's a fantastic rookie, but he's going to be in All-Star games for the next 10 to 15 years down the road. Okay, barring injury, hopefully. Knock on wood. And also Ben Simmons will probably join him as well next year, I'm guessing. Paul Millsap. It was either from Atlanta, it was either gonna be Paul Millsap or Dwight Howard. And the case for Dwight is he's actually missed the All-Star game the past few years after making 8 straight years. But he's averaging 14 points, 13 rebounds on career high shooting percentage, still getting about 2 blocks a game, being that anchor in Atlanta. And the team's actually overachieving. Okay, after the Corver trade, everyone's like, oh, they're dumping the season. But no. January, they have the third best record in the league next to the Warriors and somehow Philadelphia. Okay? So Paul Millsap, though, is arguably their best player still. He's averaging 18, 8, and 4, so you can't be mad about that. Still a great defensive player. I'm glad he's back in. And he's a former Utah Jazz guy, so I gotta love that. 4-time All-Star now. He's back in there. Isaiah Thomas, again, having a great year. Second All-Star appearance. He's a beast in the fourth quarter, okay? The team defense in the fourth isn't that good and not very good overall, but he's saving them late in games, averaging over 10 a game in the fourth, and he's second leading scorer in the league right now, so shout out to him. He's having a great year, and he's only like 5'10", 5'9", so doing what he's doing at that size is remarkable, and he deserves an all-star spot. John Wall, he was arguably should have been a starter over Kyrie Irving. I still personally think Kyrie is better because he's averaging slightly lesser stats and he's not the main guy on the team, okay? John Wall is the main guy, albeit John Wall is a better defender because of his size, and he's also a better passer than Kyrie. But Kyrie isn't the main option the past 3 years. I mean, who knows what his growth would be as the main option the past 3 years. Like John Wall's had that luxury of being, okay? The last year, before LeBron came back, they were on pace to maybe make the playoffs the first year LeBron came back without LeBron. So Kyrie was already on pace to carry that team, okay? But yeah, John Wall, great player, top point guard in the league, deserves that spot. Now, and that's basically it. I mean, the only one I can maybe argue is put in Embiid, fresh new face for Paul George, but overall, I'm not angry, okay? And I just like Dwight as well, him or Paul Millsap. I mean, Paul Millsap, arguably their better player still, so I'm not mad. Let's go to the West, though. Okay, so we got DeMarcus Cousins, Boogie Cousins, best center in the league. I don't care what people say, okay? He's not as good defensively as, say, a DeAndre Jordan or Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert might be the best defensive big man in the whole league, but the offensive prowess that Cousins has puts him over the top for me personally. So I like it. Boogie in there. Marc Gasol, he's having a career year this year. He actually is beaten his career high twice already. Extended his range. His rebounds have actually been down. His defense has been slightly down as well. But they had to have a Memphis player in there because they're in the playoffs, yada, yada, yada. I'm not too angry, but I would have liked to see Gobert in there. Not going to lie. Draymond Green. He's the anchor of the Warriors. We all know that. But did he deserve a spot over CP3? I don't know. Okay, he is arguably their most important player, so I'm not too mad about Draymond Green. His numbers have actually been slightly down this year from last year, but that may be due to the acquisition of Durant as well. So I'm not too mad. Now, we got Gordon Hayward. We got Jazzman in there. Finally, since 2011, since D. Will, we haven't had a point guard or a player from the Jazz representing us in the All-Star game. Finally got Hayward in there. Almost had Gobert. Probably will get him next year, but happy for Hayward. He's having a career year. Almost 22 points a game. Career high. He's carrying his team as much as he can. Better in the clutch than previous years. Just happy for him, honestly. And we got... One second here. We got DeAndre Jordan. Okay, so DeAndre Jordan, they're saying Rudy Gobert, DeAndre Jordan. Arguably similar years. But no, okay, they're averaging similar numbers. Jordan's averaging slightly more points, like 14 and 13. Gobert is averaging 13 and 13, along with a league-leading 2.5 blocks a game. Okay, and he's guarding more shots at the rim than Jordan and preventing more shots from going in at the rim than Jordan. So he's doing it at a higher percentage than Jordan, more shots that are going to him than Jordan, and he's blocking more or disrupting more shots than Jordan is. Opponent field goal percentage at the rim says just that, okay? So I would have really liked to see, and I'm happy for DJ, okay? I've been saying he should have been an all star the past few years, but his numbers are so similar to Gobert, and Gobert is having the better year. Not gonna lie, okay? But the Clippers, Blake Griffin's been injured. CP3's been injured. And they're a top 4 seed in the league. They need someone in there, I guess. And the only consistent health wise player has been DJ. So, okay. If that's your reasoning, fine. But I still don't see it. And then we got Klay Thompson. Okay. I'm tired of analysts and stuff saying Klay Thompson is the third best two-way player in the league next to Kawhi and LeBron, up there with Jimmy Butler. No, okay. He is a good defender. No, don't get me wrong, but he's not elite. I don't get where people are getting this elite notion that he is. And he's so one-dimensional on offense. He sucks at passing. He's only had 2 career double doubles in his whole entire NBA career, which is just sad for a 6'8" guy like that. And all he does is catch and shoot. I mean, you saw with his 60-point game, he had the ball for a total of like 20 seconds or something like that. Something crazy like that. 60 points in such little time because all he does is catch and shoot. Okay, he's one dimensional. I don't know why he's in there. Maybe it's just because the Warriors are a superpower. They're the most talked about team in the league. They need more representation. But come on, they already got Steve Kerr in there. They got Steph Curry in there. They got Draymond Green in there. Why Clay? And Damian Lillard, first player in NBA history to average 26 points, 6 assists, and 4 rebounds, and not make the All-Star team. So that's a pretty sad record to be the face of right there if you're Damian Lillard. And I don't really understand the hate for Lillard, okay? 3 years ago, 2014 All-Star game, he was the first player ever, and I'm pretty sure the only player since then, to be in every single event in the All-Star game. The skills challenge, the three-point contest, the dunk contest, the All-Star game, the Rising Stars challenge, whatever it's called. He was in everything, okay? Very next year, snubbed. He goes on an angry rant on Instagram, makes a song about it, blah, blah, blah. But then someone gets injured, he gets in there. Last year, he has an arguably better year than D Rose's MVP season. His team overachieves, gets a top 4 seed, not an all-star. But he did make the All-NBA team over Harden, which that's another conversation. Okay. But this year, he's averaging even better than that. 26 points, carrying his team. Of course they're underachieving, okay? They might not make the playoffs. Right now, the Denver is in charge of the 8th seed right now. It could always flip. The 8th seed, a lot of teams are fighting for that right now. So I get that they're underachieving, but Lillard should be an all-star. And if not Lillard, at least McCollum. Last year, won most improved, averaging over 20. This year, he's averaging over 22. Okay, so, or is it 23? Something like that. He's having an even better year, and he's playing uh, extraordinary when Lillard is not in the game when he's injured. So he plays great without Lillard too. I mean, he should have been an all-star at least, right? And then we got Mike Conley. He's having a good year, but I wouldn't put him over CP3. I wouldn't put him over Lillard. I wouldn't put him over McCollum, to be honest with you. And I sure as heck wouldn't put him over Rudy Gobert, for that matter. But yeah, he's, again, probably the best player to never make an all-star team currently in the league right now. And he just signed the biggest contract in NBA history. Still not an all-star. Still never been an all-NBA player. 153 million, really, Memphis? But still, probably an all-star snub as well. Okay, and then last player we got to talk about here is Karl Anthony Towns. He's getting lost somewhat in the Joel Embiid hype, which last year Anthony Davis was getting lost in the Cat hype. But he's having a great year. 22 points, 12 rebounds. And the past 8 games, he's averaging over 28 and over 10 rebounds a game. So he's having a fantastic year. His team also is underachieving, but they're fighting for that 8 seed as well. Okay, so and he was probably snubbed last year as a rookie, like Embiid is this year. So both of them being snubbed, both had similar seasons, great rookie years, snubbed. And this year, Cat's been even better, still snubbed, and I'm not sure why. Okay, I know the league is slowly changing to all these talented players, and now I'm going to transition. The All Star rosters need to be expanded, okay, to 15 at least. That way we get some of the snubs. I didn't even mention Blake Griffin, who's still All Star caliber, LaMarcus Aldridge, who's All Star caliber, Nikola Jokic, who's been fantastic this year, leading the Nuggets. Okay, I didn't mention any of them, but 15 players is what's on a roster anyway. Okay, and why do we only have 12-man All Star rosters? It doesn't really make sense. And it means a lot to the players, and it means a lot Hall of Fame wise too. Okay, and legacy wise, they say, oh, this guy was a. It means a lot more to say Bosch was an 11-time All Star over Carmelo was an 8-time All Star. Okay, and Bosch is not as good a player as Melo was his whole career either. He was fantastic in Toronto, but still, it means a lot to the players. It means a lot legacy wise. The rosters, if they're upgraded to 15, they're still going to be snubs, but not as drastically as a Lillard and a CP3, okay? Being snubbed. And the fact is, the West is better talent-wise than the East. The East has the best player in the game. Probably going to be the best player in the game in a few years in Giannis. But the West is so overstacked with talent. Even the bad teams have a Nikola Jokic on them, okay? The only team that really doesn't have a potential star, in my opinion, is the Lakers, but Brandon Ingram could be that player as well. I mean, even Phoenix has a Devin Booker, okay? So the bottom line is there's a lot of snubs this year, but the NBA once again is so talented. It's ridiculous. Um, I said it in my earlier video, but it's the best the NBA has ever been. They're so we've never had a players before that are potential Hall of Famers in their prime missing the All Star game, and that's basically all I have to say for this video. Let me know what you guys think though of the All Star rosters. Did you like the new voting system? Did you like the starters? Did you think Westbrook got snubbed from the starting lineup? Who do you think got snubbed from the reserves? And just overall, just let me know. Please like, subscribe, comment what I asked before. Also comment what you think I can do to improve. And I'll see you guys next time.